Just a little word of caution before diving in. This isn't your grandmother's Little House on the Prairie. The following episodes contain adult themes, profanity, and potentially traumatizing realizations about a show you loved as a child. Listener discretion is advised.
What he says specifically is,
I cooked it to make it hard. Okay, Abel.
once they hear like, they realize that I'm just getting dragged. They stop.
I'm a beverage goblin, so I like having lots
A
of
beverage
beverages.
goblin. I've never heard that term. I want a t-shirt
Really?
that says that.
I feel like Harriet lost a ton of weight
I didn't
in
notice.
this episode.
I did not notice, but I wasn't
She
paying
hit up the Ozempic. Welcome to Little House Big Opinions, the podcast where every week we dust off our bonnets and head back to Walnut Grove to revisit every single episode of Little House on the Prairie. It's a show that shaped a generation and had absolutely no business being as dramatic as it was. We're still recovering from some of the more traumatic episodes, so join us weekly as we talk about all of the drama, trauma, and crazy schemes that the folks in Walnut Grove get up to. So grab your emotional support bestie, your favorite beverage, and let's go.
You know the show, Little House on the Prairie. There was lots of drama and some of the episodes were pretty scary. So we created this podcast. Get ready to have a blast. This is Little House Big Opinions. Grab your bonnets and let's go.
Welcome to another episode of Little House Big Opinions.
Today we will be tackling Season 1, Episode 10.
School Mom.
And in this episode, Carolyn takes over as teacher. We will get into all that entails just a minute here.
Yes. This is a fun one, though. I liked it.
How was your week?
It was great. It was good. I was sick. So if my voice sounds funny, that's why. I was miserable. But what are you going to do?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Sorry.
So
I'm sorry. Sorry you were sick.
how about yours?
I didn't feel great either, so it's okay.
Super fun.
I also shared a dream with Riley. I'm not going to go into the specifics, but in the dream, I was picking up rabbit pellets like one by one because I've gotten so used to doing that every day.
Oh, and
My
she has
bunnies-
gotten another rabbit since
Yeah.
our first episode.
Yeah, I've got 3 bunnies now. I have a problem. Yeah. Yeah.
But you've got, did you say you threw her the poop?
Yeah, in my dream, I threw the poop at my husband because he was being rude to me. He is in real life. He's very sweet, but in my dream, he was being really rude, so I threw the poop in his face.
I feel like that's pretty fair.
Yeah. Okay, so back to Prairie and the
Lore.
episode. Yes. So this episode centers on Carolyn taking over for Miss Beadle, and teaching for a little while. So, I looked up. I did some very non-thorough research on what school was like during Prairie times. I just did a quick little search. So, if this is inaccurate, don't blame me.
They're not alive. The people that would tell you
Right.
aren't alive, so.
Blame Google, not me. So it says it was typically a one-room schoolhouse with broad ages, younger children all the way up to the older children, and that it was based on the season because of planting.
Okay.
So they had... I wonder if that's where summer break originated, because it says that they had fall,
Oh.
spring, and winter terms.
Yeah,
So...
probably.
And it said like it said that still it was common for like boys to be out regularly,
Yeah.
just working. But yeah, so interesting. And the one thing that I thought was interesting was it says that teaching style, teachers relied heavily on memorization, recitation, and repetition.
Oh.
And I think we kind of see that some of that in this episode.
Yeah, we do.
She gets a little creative.
She does.
But it is still very, like, repetitive, kind of.
Right.
Yeah. So,
Which I guess if you're having, because this episode kind of shows that kids would just show up when they were able to. So I guess if that's kind of the norm, you would just have to repeat a bunch of stuff all the time.
yeah, that's true. So,
What was your favorite subject in school?
English.
Mine too. I liked history too. But
Yeah, I liked history, but I liked English more. Actually, you know what's funny though is I guess when I was growing up, I guess I would say like we kind of separated, like it was like English, reading, and writing were kind of like
their
three
own,
separate, like
yeah.
their own, because I was homeschooled. Riley was
I was
homeschooled
too, for a little bit.
For a while. So, yeah, for me, we had reading, which was where I actually got to read stories and books, and, like, I liked that. And I had writing, prompts
Cursive.
and activities.
Oh, or do you mean, I guess I was thinking writing like penmanship.
Well, I had
But
that
you
to
mean,
start,
like,
but then later on, like, I
creative
had
writing?
creative writing prompts and stuff like that, and I always liked that. But actual English, I literally just had a grammar textbook and, like, just had to do, it was almost like math. Like, it was just practice problems, like, over and over again.
Ew.
Yeah. That's what
I
did
do
for
love
English.
diagramming.
I do not. But yeah, I liked the reading part of English.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's delve into the episode School Mom.
School mom. The first note that I have is that the opening scene, the music is very weird. It's like weird harpsichord that doesn't really seem to go with the episode.
They like their tiny harpsichord.
Yeah. I don't remember who the boy is, but there's a little boy who's chasing
The girls.
with the snake.
With the snake. And they all run off screaming.
Which
I would be so mad.
I would be mad too.
I'd be very mad.
Yeah. I still, if there's a bug in the house, I don't want Josh to kill it. I want him to, like, get it and take it outside. But if he ever's, like, walking by me, he knows not to, like, get too close. Because I'm like,
Don't
get near me.
I told you we found a snake in our yard.
No.
We didn't tell you that?
No.
It was just a
Snake?
rat snake. And it was in one of the flower beds. And Samuel was like, I need something to get it. So I gave him a pot with a lid. And he got it in there. But then I asked him where he put it. And he said he took it and put it under the shed.
Oh.
Which is at the very back of our yard. And
Yeah.
it is like in the back corner. And I was like, okay, so of all the places in our yard, that probably is the best. But I have been giving him a hard time about it ever since then. I've been like, why didn't you drive it to a field? He's like, you just wanted me to take the pot, put it in the car, and drive the snake to a field. I'm like, yes. And he's like, I'm not going to load it up in the car. I'm like, well, you could have taken it. There's like this abandoned house in our neighborhood. Like, somebody bought it, but nobody's living there. I'm like,
Yeah.
you could have taken it to that house. And he was like, and there's people that live next there. I'm like, well, there's people that live next to us, and we live here, and we live here. And he's like, but if I saw somebody releasing a snake on the property next to mine, I would be so angry and concerned. And I was like, well, I was like, we could just act like we were like taking casserole over. We thought somebody was home.
Surprise!
But anyways, that just made me think of it. I've been giving him, because I'm the same way. Like, I am a huge animal lover. I love animals, but I'm not a fan of snakes, and I don't want to hurt them.
No.
Like, I will still break for a snake.
Yeah.
I will break for a snake just as much as I will break for squirrels, but I don't want them near me. I don't want them in my yard.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan.
So I feel like there's like an animal hierarchy. Like, I want all animals and bugs and stuff to be okay. However, if it was between like a snake and a dog, or a snake and a cat, I'm going to protect the cat. Like, I'm going to protect the other animal
Yeah.
other than the snake.
And that's kind of why I'm concerned, because we have dogs.
Yeah.
And so,
And the bunnies go out there.
yeah, that's which like we
I
always
guess
take
you,
the
like,
bunnies supervised, but I was giving Samuel a really hard time. I'm like, what about the bunnies?
Yeah.
But I think, I've come to my conclusion, because I'm like, because, that's kind of a universal I know some people are very big snake lovers.
Yeah.
And I definitely agree with like the don't hate on snakes just because they're a little different, a little weird. You know, like I said, I would never hurt one. I don't want anything bad to happen to them.
Yeah.
I just don't particularly like them. However, I've been trying to pinpoint, like, what is it? Because a lot of people are not fans of snakes.
Right.
And I was thinking, like, you know, you can't really put it down to poison. There's lots of, like, poisonous.
Right.
And there's lots of non-venomous snakes, right? You can't really put
There's lots of poisonous spiders in Alabama.
You can't put it to, like, it being not a mammal, right? There's plenty of others. So I finally... It's the no legs.
Yeah, it's just creepy.
It's the no legs. Because even lizards, like, I'm chill with lizards. Like, same thing. I don't really, like... I don't want to hold a lizard, but, like, I am going to be way more chill. Like, if there was if somebody had a bearded dragon and, like, held it up to me, I would be fine.
Yeah.
But if somebody had a snake and held it up to me, I'd be flipping out.
No.
So, it's the legs.
Yeah.
I think it's, like, the only thing other than fish that don't have legs.
Yeah. Eels. I mean, I guess that class.
Yeah, like, not
animal.
water things. Yeah. Like, it's the only thing on land that I can think of
have legs.
that doesn't have legs.
Yeah.
Some kind of legs.
So when we were in Lexington, I guess it was 2 weeks ago now, we stayed on a horse farm, and the place that we stayed was, like, out on the back of the property, and I was so scared that there was going to be a snake in there. There were a lot of bugs, but any that came in, like, I think that they had sprayed inside, so, like, they would die pretty quickly. But anytime I drove, it was, like, back in Horsefield. So you had to drive, like, 15 minutes just to get to, like, the main road. And I was so stressed out because there were so many birds. Because, have you been to Lexington?
Mm-mm.
So they have, like, main roads, but then the roads that the horse pastures are off of, they're really pretty. Like, they have old, like, stone henges, basically, and then they are, like, lined with trees. So it's very pretty. A lot of them have, like, little lakes or ponds or whatever, and there's tons of birds in all of the trees. And the birds, like, will just fly right in front of the car, or they'll, like, run right out on the road and then go back. And I kept, like, slamming on the brakes, and Josh was like, you can't do that. If people come up behind us, they will hit us. I was like, I'm watching. And I was like, I don't want to be this way. I was like, this is very stressful for me. But I can't help it. It's like, I am not going to kill a bird. Which I accidentally have hit a bird before, and I sobbed for hours. Yeah. It was
so
awful.
In short, we love animals, but we're not fans of snakes being close to us. So if we were in this situation.
And I feel like if they would have told Miss Beadle about that, which it's funny that her name is Beadle. But I feel like she would have been like, oh, he just likes you.
Yeah. I think she would, or she just would have been like, okay.
Okay.
So yeah, they are angry. And is this what causes the wagon accident?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So the snake spooks
the horse.
Miss Beadle this is after church, right? Or is it after school?
I think it's after school. And they're
so they're gathered around.
The kids are playing.
The kids are playing.
Yeah.
Miss Beadle is loading up to leave. So she gets in her wagon, and the snake spooks her horse. And so her horse takes off.
Running.
Goes off-roading.
One of the guys that's, like, in town is on his horse. He tries to, like, come up alongside and, like, calm the horse down, but it doesn't work.
And so it goes off-road and hits, like, a divot or rock or something, and so Miss Beadle is thrown from the wagon.
Yeah.
And she rolls, and this looks pretty bad.
Yeah, it does.
But all she ends up with is a sprained ankle.
Yeah.
I mean, like, they say it might be broken, but she's like, oh, it's just a sprain, but that's it. Like,
which is surprising. And
yeah,
she's not even, like, scraped up or anything.
Paul falls from a tree and breaks how many ribs?
Like 4.
4 ribs, but Miss Beadle is thrown from a wagon and, like, rolls down a hill on rocks. Well, it's like,
it was basically like you with the paramotor.
One time when I was training for paramotor, which, if you don't know what that is, just look it up because I'm not going to try to explain it. But
paragliding, but with a motor.
Yeah. But I was training, and there's this, when they're training you, they do this part where they just pull you up, like with I don't even know how to describe it. It's like you don't have the motor. They just practice like pulling you up into the air so that you can practice the technique of landing. You have the motor on your back, but so that you can practice the technique of landing without having to like actually be controlling the motor too. All that to say, one time, so they like pull you with this rope, but you're running, so it's not like dragging you. But I fell, and they couldn't see me because they were so far in the distance, and so I was just getting dragged for a couple seconds.
And Josh was there with her.
Yeah, not like right now, but he was ahead. So eventually,
he was watching.
I have a radio on, so eventually, once they hear like, they realize that I'm just getting dragged. They stop. But anyways, when we were like, Josh and I were telling this story to Riley and other people, they were like, well, how long were you? I was like, I don't know. It was probably like 30 seconds, a minute. And Josh was like, it was like 5 seconds. And then I was like, when I think about it, if I was getting dragged I was like, that would just be for 30 seconds straight. And I was like, that didn't happen.
But we always joke about that. It's like it got longer every time she told the story.
Yeah.
So
that's what she said.
Nice.
Okay, we're getting off on some tangents today. Okay, so that was quite the wagon accident.
Yes, Miss Beadle cannot teach. She has to rest, which I don't understand why she couldn't have still taught. She could have gone in and propped up her leg.
Teachers go in all the time now with crutches, scooters.
And she doesn't get up much
anyways.
No,
she just sits there. She just sits there and tells them what to do from her desk.
Yeah.
So why can she not go too? But again, it didn't work for the plot.
Yeah.
Did not work for the plot. So Mr. Hanson and Doc Baker show up to the Ingalls requesting that Carolyn come teach at the school because she has had teaching experience.
Which I don't understand why it was Mr. Hanson and Doc Baker.
I guess because they're like leaders in the town, but yeah, both of us were confused because...
So you just watched the Tinker Jones episode?
Mm-hmm.
Hanson has a boy in that episode at the end. He's standing on the porch steps, and there's a boy in front of him, and he's, like, tapping his head.
Oh, okay, so maybe Hanson does have kids.
But
we didn't, but I don't think they
no idea.
Yeah, so, yeah, that's not why you have to.
Yeah, no. Maybe Doc Baker because he's educated?
I don't know,
but he's a doctor?
But you would think that, like, the parents would be the one initiating.
Which, yeah, Nels and Harriet are there, too, I think.
Yeah, so they come and ask Carolyn to teach because she has teaching experience, and she's hesitant until Harriet kind of is like, well, maybe that's for the best, and Harriet kind of makes some remarks, and Carolyn really can't stand it when Harriet challenges her, so she's like, you know what, I think I will
do it.
So she decides that she's going to be teacher.
Yep. And then we have a Charles and Carolyn in bed scene, and Carolyn is talking about how she's a little worried because she has such a temper, and Charles agrees. And I wrote, does she though? Like, I don't feel like we ever see her.
I feel like
other than in the very first episode where she yells at Carrie.
I feel like, well, I think her temper, I think she's not like concerned about teaching. She just kind of feels guilty because she's like, oh, I have such a temper, because what motivated her to do it was Harriet, challenging her. Okay. And she's like, I shouldn't have let it get, I think that was more what it was like, I shouldn't have let it get to me. I have such a temper, but like traditional temper, no. I think she just, it's like, she doesn't like to be
pushed,
bossed around, or,
made to be the fool.
Yes. And she doesn't have a temper, but like, she doesn't like to be treated that way. And so we definitely see a lot of passive aggressiveness from Carolyn with Charles. She always gets her, like, she kind of always gets her way,
Maybe this is where we learned it from.
Maybe.
Carolyn.
Carolyn taught us all.
Which we see a really good scene with that in the Tinker Jones episode that I really liked.
We watched this episode with Samuel's brother and his brother's wife, so our sister-in-law. And so we watched it with them, and Samuel's brother was saying that, like, Carolyn kind of got on his nerves sometimes because of her passive aggressiveness, and how she would always just, like, make faces or make sly little comments until Charles would, like, pick up on. Mm-hmm. And I was like, yeah, I get that. But I was like, I feel like I do that all the time.
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah, me too.
yeah, I do that. Sorry.
I put Harry is a really pompous ass, but I think I meant Harriet because I feel like she was like on the next level with this episode. Like she was just very testy and opinionated and outspoken about things.
So we have Carolyn's first day, and she comes in, and I was like surprised for Prairie Times. These children are like really giving her a hard time.
Yeah.
They're like, you're not a teacher. You're just a mom.
I'm like, what do you know? Like,
Yeah, and like I was
Little
just like,
Johnny.
and like I just kind of thought the behavior was like I don't think this is actually how it would have gone. You know,
Right.
it's like defer to the adult. This is the adult. You respect them.
Yeah.
But they are kind of like challenging her and like, you know, what right do you have to? And she was, how does she even lead into the? She says,
I don't even.
because she says like, what is something that you're really good at?
Yeah.
I don't know why. Somehow she leads into, she's like, you know, well,
Was it like just,
you have to give people a chance or like give them time to practice. I don't know.
or like just because you say something doesn't mean that you're the best at it?
Something
And
like
then
that.
one
I
of
don't
the
know.
boys says like, oh, well, I'm the best at hitting the ball.
She
or
asks,
something.
she's like, what is something that you think you're better at than everyone else? And he says, I can hit a ball farther than anyone. And so she takes the children outside.
Yep.
Um,
And we have some very, very Brady Bunch music as they go out.
so she asks to see him hit a ball, and then she hits a ball, and she hits it really far,
Really
way
far.
farther than he does.
Which is so impressive to all of the kids.
And
Which
so
I was thinking about it. And if I was like that age, I feel like I would have thought that that was cool.
yeah.
Like,
But it's just kind of her way of showing like, give me a chance, I'll surprise you.
just because I seem one way doesn't mean
yeah.
that I can't do other
So
things.
the kids are impressed.
And that's already more than Miss Beadle has ever done in a school episode.
This is true.
I've never seen Miss Beadle play with the children.
Yeah.
So,
I forgot about this, but I'll tell Lauren. I forgot about that.
oh, yeah. For some reason, Carolyn doesn't want Laura and Mary to tell Charles about the ball thing. I think because she knows that he would, like, give her a hard time, like, just teasing her about it. Like, oh, you needed to, like, prove yourself or something.
Really, I thought it was like your pa doesn't need, like, he doesn't need to know that I'm so good at like something boyish because like she likes to maintain this like
Maybe.
image of
Yeah. I could see it either
femininity.
way.
Yeah. So then we go inside, and so there is a boy at the back who is obviously older
Much older.
than the rest of the children.
What's his name?
I don't remember.
Do I have it anywhere? Abel.
Abel. Abel is able to learn. That's what we should title this episode. Able to learn.
Yeah! That's good.
Okay. Proud of myself for that one. Okay, so he's sitting at the back, and Ma has the kids read from the book, like she's having them read from a page. And she's like, let's start with, and I think she's just going alphabetically, so she's like, Abel. So he stands up and tries to, and he like he cannot read. He's struggling. He tries to just, he's like, ma'am, like he's trying to kind of.
Carolyn is not
She's
getting
not
it
picking up
at
on
all.
it. No. Carolyn is not reading the signals. But all the other kids start chuckling and laughing.
They're so mean.
They're so mean.
I don't get it.
They're so mean. They all start, except I did notice Mary and Laura aren't laughing.
Yeah.
And they do like, they're trying to like kind of
Get Ma's
communicate to
attention.
her mom like, hey, and yeah, so Ma tells the kids to stop laughing.
Yeah. Yeah. And
But-
I just don't know how she didn't figure
it out sooner. But the boy runs out. Abel runs out, embarrassed. And
Then Ma goes to visit Miss Beadle to reminisce on the first day.
yes.
And she's telling her that she feels badly because she already lost a student. And Miss Beadle is basically just like, it happens. She's like, I just let the kids laugh. They'll learn. Like,
So
she's the most blasé, passive teacher ever.
she says that Abel ran away once and like she never went and checked on him. Never like this has happened. Like something similar has happened. She never checked with him. She never talked to the students about their behavior towards him. Didn't try to
just like,
remedy this. It's just it happens. So then
Ma gets back home, and Carrie is very excited that she's home because Carrie has been at the house with Charles all day, which I guess Charles is just not working. Or did he? No, she went to stay with someone.
Oh.
Carrie went to stay with, that's something that I wrote. The Nelsons. She says that the Nelsons watched Carrie. Don't know who the Nelsons are. Never heard of the Nelsons before. And then
I think, is this where Mary and Laura explain
Yeah.
kind of to Carolyn? They tell her,
But they literally call him Dumb Abel. And I was like, these kids are demons. Like, they're so
not Mary and Laura.
mean.
Like, they say the kids call him that.
Yes, yeah. And I don't feel like, I don't know. Maybe children are actually that mean, but I don't feel like they are. And then they say that he is, or does Ma ask if he's backwards?
I don't remember.
But I think backwards must have meant like, mentally like handicapped.
Impaired, yeah.
Yeah.
But the kid has never been to school.
Right. So what do you
Like,
expect?
And when he has been to school, he's been laughed out of school. So
Yeah.
it's like, maybe not. Maybe he just hasn't had any education. And when he has gone, he's gotten Miss Beadle, who...
Yeah, maybe this is a sign that the teacher sucks ass.
Yeah. Okay. And
We see Pa being very good stay-at-home dad here. He has taken care of everything on the farm, and he also has made dinner and set the table for them. I thought that was very sweet.
what a winning husband.
Yeah.
Charles is growing on us.
Yeah.
So then we go to Carolyn taking eggs to Harriet, and Harriet is being
next morning.
so nice now.
Yes.
Because Willie and Nellie are in school, and obviously
She wants special
treatment, and since Carolyn's a teacher, so she is really chatting it up with Carolyn, and she talks about how much Willie and Nellie are loving having her as a teacher, and she talks about them getting the, what do they call the special? It's like a teacher's
monitor
aide or monitor.
something.
Yeah. But basically like what we would call like an office aide or teacher's aide now. Like basically a student that does
helps clean
little tasks and stuff. So Harriet is like pushing for this for them because she thinks it's end. So Carolyn picks up on this and does a little witty, and she's like, oh, well, that position is for children who really struggle in school and don't like school. It's, a motivator to,
work harder.
To work hard and to, make them feel special so that they'll come to school. So that's for kids that really don't like to come to school.
The kids that don't like to come to school, we give them more work to make them want to come to school more.
Well, okay. I think they did a bad job of explaining it, but I will say...
like, make them feel, like, important.
Well, I am a teacher. Won't discuss what school I teach at, but I do teach. So this is something that, like, you do give, it's like kids that don't want to come to school or are reluctant. It's like sometimes, of course, that's just how it is. But a lot of times, they just need an extra thing they just need to feel wanted, like they're wanted there. Okay. So not like giving them extra work, but giving them a role, like literally like door greeter, being like, I need you, like you're my door greeter, like you're my person, or hey, I like literally like any small thing, like you're my laptop person. You collect the laptops. Like when you're not here, I have. So it's just like a way to like make them feel like they belong and they're special. So I feel like that's what it was. But Carolyn is just using this to kind of be like
so witty.
She's like, that's for children who don't want to. So Harriet is like, oh, of course that's not the case. She's like, Willie and Nellie love to learn. They love school.
They're the best students. And I did note, I feel like Harriet lost a ton of weight.
I didn't
in this episode.
I did not notice, but I wasn't.
She hit up the Ozempic.
I wonder what Ozempic would have been back then. Just not eating.
Yeah, probably.
Okay, so
Ma goes to Abel's house. More than Miss Beadle did again. She's already doing way more than Miss Beadle.
Put in an after hours.
And she's probably not getting paid.
No.
So we walk up with Carolyn to Abel's house, and his dad is out working. I don't know what he's doing. Is it like a mill or something?
Yeah.
Some sort of mill. I think
And it's
he
like,
explains.
well, they have like some good in the ground, and they're getting extracting
and then he has
it
like horses walking around
in circles.
I don't know.
We don't get into the minutia of some of these things.
But I did note that his dad's pot belly is massive. So whatever they're doing, they're eating well.
And at first, his dad kind of seems rude.
Yeah.
But then, like, he actually is not. He's not
He
like
has pretty valid
Olga's
points.
dad.
No.
He's not like Olga's dad, where he's like, absolutely not.
Yeah.
You can't have. He basically says, like, Abel's got a good setup. Like, he is inheriting this farm from me. We make good money. He doesn't really need it, but he's like, but he can do what he wants. Like, he can do what he wants. He can do what he wants. He's like, he is able to make up his own mind. Able to make up his own mind. And if he wants to come back to school and get an education, that's up to him. I'm not going to force him to. That's up to him. And I feel like that's a pretty, especially because this is like a pretty grown kid. Like he is like a teenager.
Yeah.
I feel like given the context, like obviously nowadays if kid is like, Mom, I don't want to go to school.
Kind of,
too bad.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like he was a pretty reasonable guy.
Yeah. Yeah, I have at first that I was like, parents are always dicks. And then the next line, I was like, actually, you know what? His dad's actually pretty reasonable. And, like, again, he's not learning anything because of Miss Beadle. It's not Abel's fault.
Yeah.
Like,
well, and I think this is, like, the problem, right? Of course, with, like, which, I mean, public education also has similar issues with not enough support for individual students. But, like, you have a classroom with ranging from kindergarten to 12th grade.
Sorry, I just saw one of my next notes.
I thought that was too. But if you have a room like ranging from kindergarten to 12th grade, it's hard to individualize instruction for those kids. And it's like, how do you, this is my hot take. I think my big opinion, I'm getting to it a little bit early, but my big opinion is that Miss Beadle is like burnout as fuck. Like,
yeah.
And so she's just like, kids do that because like she has been dealing with these kids' behavior and trying to manage both the education as well as like the emotional well-being and support of students ranging from 5 to 18. She's tired. That
bitch tired.
She's tired. Okay.
She probably placed the snake. She was like, I'm getting a vacation.
So Ma walks over to Abel and he is like making stuff out of clay. And he bakes it so that it hardens.
But he says, at first, he sees sticks and sees bones. And I think that that's kind of creepy, Abel. That's a little weird.
But they're kind of cute. It's like little figurines he's making.
It reminded me of, like, at Christmas time, like the salt clay ornaments.
Yeah.
That you can, like, make at home and bake yourself.
But what he says specifically is,
I cooked it to make it hard. Okay, Abel.
I bet you did.
So here I have a funny story because of just the way that he's speaking, like, is a little bit obviously younger than he is because he's not well educated. But when we were in Lexington, there were horses that were literally right outside, like, the place that we were staying at. So we would take them, like, apples and carrots and stuff before we went anywhere. And you just, like, held out your hand and they would come nuzzle it and get it. But obviously they're horses and it rained, like, the entire time. So they were dirty. So, like, my hand was all grimy afterwards. So I was spraying hand sanitizer on and I said, wants to clean, and then I did it again and I said wants to sanitize, but Josh thought I said wants to clean, wants to sanitize, like I was like speaking like third person omniscient, and he was like, why are you narrating for yourself? Like, so we've been quoting that multiple times.
Nice. So back at school, Ma has a talk with the kids and she's like, y'all have been little punk ass kids, and she's like, I want Abel to come back, and I want him to be able to learn. And she's like, has he done anything to any of you? They're like, no. And she's like, okay, so why would you be so mean to him? And they're like, yeah, you right. So she's like, if there was something we could do to help him learn, wouldn't you want to help him? And, this is the thing that I do think is kind of true about kids is they can be quick to be mean sometimes, but they're also just so quick to, like,
be part of something to help someone else.
Right. And just to, like, follow the instructions of those around them and to kind of follow their lead. Like, I just feel like it's very, like, group mentality.
Yeah.
But then when it's for good,
it's included in something.
Yeah. So they're all like, yeah, we want to help. So they all get in onto this plan.
Which, again, why isn't Miss Beadle thinking of this stuff?
We don't know. Honestly, in reality, like, while of course Abel should be welcome at school and I think they should be doing things to help Abel, I'm like, the reality is probably that, like, he needs somebody after school working with him. Yeah. Like, he should be able to go to school and, like, I'm sure he would glean stuff from that. But I'm like, and I'm like, once Miss Beadle goes back, like, why doesn't Carolyn do some tutoring with him? Like, one-on-one. Like, I feel like he would learn a lot more.
I honestly, for some reason, I feel like there's an episode like that.
Yeah, I
think what I thought that this was.
But that's not the case because she's teaching the whole class. So her idea is that she assigns everybody a letter. And she tells the children, she's like, we need to go back to the basics because you're making too many errors in your spelling and your pronunciation. So we're going to go back to the basics. And so she says, I'm going to give you a letter. You're going to hold up your letter and say what sound it makes if I call your letter. And then whoever has the last letter has to say what word has been made. So it's like, she'll be like Nellie, and Nellie will say C, and then she'll be like Laura, and Laura will say A, and my sound is ah. And then it'll get to Abel, and Abel has T, his sound is tuh, and so he has to put it together in cat, and so on. I just did a really great reenactment there. So this is her strategy, and it's pretty effective. Yeah. And Abel is picking up on stuff.
I feel like that is how Abeka taught reading.
Yeah.
Abeka is the homeschooling curriculum that we use.
The holy grail of homeschooling.
Y'all went back and forth between that and Bob Jones, right? And then some, like, of your mom's own stuff.
Yeah.
Those weird books. We should get those.
The home ec books.
Yes.
Yes. We need to find them.
Yeah, we could go.
We have gone. I don't know if she has them.
Surely she didn't get rid of those.
They were our favorites. So my mom has a set of home ec books. And granted, like, my mom did not actually use these with us. Or with me, at least. She used some of the stuff on, like, cooking and sewing. But she had this home ec set that was, like, basically no hate to the Amish community. But it was it was very...
It just made me think of some of the things in there.
It was very, very conservative and very, like... old-fashioned. Anyways, so
we're going to be doing a special episode, I think, next. So maybe we can get those because I feel like those go along with the other things that we're wanting to talk about in that.
That would be so fun. So you wrote down the note. Willie is really cute with his C.
He holds up the C.
Yeah. He's so cute. Willie
I like him.
Willie's one of my favorites.
And then Mary gives Ma a weird, like, blink. I don't know if she's trying to, like, wink, but she's just like, you can't see me.
Here's a fun story. If you're watching, we're going to have to edit it out of the talking part because it won't make sense, but for the watching part, it'll be funny. Okay, so I, last week of school, right, they're half days for the students, so a lot of teachers duck out a little early, once the students are gone, obviously, and we've gotten done everything that we need to get done. So the teacher across the hallway from me comes over, and it's just like, and he is obviously leaving for the day. But I'm still there, and he's just like, hey, if anyone asks where I am, I'm at lunch. And I was like, okay. And so, like, it was like a little joke. So I went to wink, but I don't know when it started, but every time I wink, I make this stupid face. And so I do it with, like, Riley, I do it with Samuel, and I go, every time. And so I went to wink, and my body just, like, went into auto mode. And just did the whole thing. It just went at the guy. And literally the instant afterwards, I was like, what the fuck did I just do? I mean, like, because, like, I mean, we're nice. Like, we're cordial. But, like, I don't know this person very well. And he's kind of, like, he has a very, like, dry sense of humor. Like, he's a very serious man. And so he just, and I'm just.
Did you do the wiggle?
I was like. And then I was like,
oh no.
Bye. And he's like, bye.
Didn't say anything.
Nope, didn't say anything else. And I'm just hoping he forgets by end of summer break.
She called me after it happened, and I died laughing then too.
Yeah,
so good.
I couldn't sit with my embarrassment, so I called Riley. I was like, guess what I just did? So anyways, that was but Mary gives Ma a weird wink.
Yeah.
What's the point?
And then we see
Pa pick up Carolyn from school.
Yeah.
And he asks how her day went, and she says
she's never had a better day. Really? Never had a better day.
But obviously she's feeling happy with her success. Yeah. But then the next day, I guess, at school.
Yep. Things go downhill fast.
Yeah. So they're kind of doing the same thing, or they're doing something similar. Yeah. And Harriet walks in. And I guess Nellie or Willie, one of them, told Harriet about what was going on in school. Yeah. And I don't know if it was like, because like they were in on it too. Like they seemed to, so I don't think they were trying to like rat Carolyn out. No. I think they were just talking about their day. Like I think Harriet was probably just being nosy and being like, what did you learn? What did you do? And they just told her. And
outside of like getting her way, like wanting to play certain things, I feel like Nellie's pretty nice.
Yeah. Like, I mean, like she's
stuck up, but
she's stuck up. She's bossy. But when it comes to like these
helping kids,
group effort type things, yeah, she's nice. So I don't think they were like trying to rat anyone out, but Harriet hears about what's going on, so she storms in and she is like, I can't believe that this is what's happening here. This is holding the other students back. And she just unleashes, and she she says something really mean to Abel.
Yeah.
I can't remember what specific, but like she's harsh. She doesn't mean. Just say like, I can't, like she's like, you know, you're holding the other kids back for this, and like
you'll never amount to.
She says something pretty like harsh to. So Abel runs out again.
It's too late for you to learn anyway, so something.
Yeah, and
then Carolyn, of course.
Carolyn serves.
Yeah, she does. She does. Scene. I really liked it. She asks if any of the children know how to spell compassion and if they know what it is, and she's like writing it angrily on the chalkboard. And then they
says, and what about understanding?
She does the same thing. And she's like, well, clearly Harriet doesn't know either. And then she just storms off.
Quits.
And takes her stuff and leaves.
Yes. And I think, like, as she throws some other quip in there, like, you know, some people may not know some, but she doesn't even know what these things mean. Yeah. It's very, very saucy. So, this... Riley's note says the school board comes to the Ingalls to talk to Ma. I like how that you've designated. This is just a school board now.
Yeah.
Mr. Hanson and Doc Baker.
And Nels.
But Nels at least has kids there, but the others don't.
Yeah, so
they ask her to please come back.
Yeah. And do they ask her, like, what happened?
Or they ask her if she, like...
Would you consider coming back? And she says, would it be okay if I answer your question with another question? And I put, that's literally me with Josh anytime he asks me something. Because he's like, do you want to do this? I'm like, do you want to do this?
But basically, she's like, if you had worked really hard to do something and you had been making progress and you had been putting in a lot of time and effort, and then somebody came and trashed everything that you had done, what would you do to them? And I can't remember their exact response, but it's something along the lines of like, well, I'd give him a punch to the gut, something like that.
And she says, and I think he says, like, I would, punch them or hit them or something. Yeah. And she was like, well, that did occur to me, but unhappily, I am a lady.
You go, Carolyn.
Yeah. Is Charles standing there for this?
He is.
Okay.
And then,
so they ride away, the school board rides away, and they call it a surrey, which I always thought that a surrey had a covering.
I don't know any wagon terms.
Because
I am wagon incompetent.
the musical Oklahoma, the first opening song is Surrey with a Fringe on Top.
Oh.
Surrey
No.
with a Fringe
Wait,
on
okay.
top.
What if we did a Prairie Short and we did bonnets and Surreys?
Oh, that's
We
a
investigate
good idea.
both.
Okay. And we could do another special comparing Seven Brides for Seven Brothers.
Prairie goes wild.
Prairie go crazy.
So Carolyn says, now that I've lost the people that needed me most, I don't think I could be a good teacher.
I
I get that she's upset.
Yeah.
But it's like you could still be a good teacher for the kids that are there. And the other thing, too, is like everyone is on her side. So, again, I mean, like, obvious, like, if I was Abel, I'd be fed up at this point.
Yeah.
But she could go to Abel again and be, which she does, and be like, this mean lady is not coming back.
Right.
We dealt with this issue. We still want you here, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But then they're in bed eating popcorn, which is it's going to be, we should do a count for that. How many times they eat popcorn in bed?
Eat popcorn. And how many times they have coffee at middle of the night.
I probably would too, though, because, like, they don't have
Like hot.
They don't have pop or, like, I don't know why I said pop. I never say pop. They don't have soda. They don't have, like, fun beverages.
Yeah.
They just have coffee.
Oh.
So
I'm a beverage goblin, so I like having lots
a
of
beverage
beverages.
goblin. I've never heard that term. I want a t-shirt
Really?
that says that. I'm a beverage goblin. Yeah, we wouldn't survive in the prairie on.
I have my Pepsi Zero and my water.
Two
beverages.
Two beverages.
But Pa is eating popcorn
In
and
bed.
reading loudly. Or
Reading loudly. He's eating popcorn loudly.
eating popcorn loudly.
And he's reading a book about learning to paint.
Yes, which I thought was very funny. And he says, like, he's telling Carolyn these random facts about painting, and he was, like, thinking about painting something. And then she is obviously, like, in her head recounting everything that's happened. And she says, I always just get so upset when I lose my temper. And I, again, was like, did you lose your temper?
This is very restrained.
Yeah.
I'm like, I wish I had the amount of control to be
Right.
like that saucy and teach a lesson without, like, letting my emotions. I mean, like, she's heated. You can tell she's heated.
But, like, she was very, like, I feel like how she handled it was very witty and, like,
Yes.
very,
Yes.
very quick.
I probably would have laid hands on it. So,
You ugly ass bitch, get out of here. So then Charles does his classic smirk that he does when he is like, oh, Carolyn, after saying that Harriet is going to be teaching school now. And you can tell that he has a little something up his sleeve. He's kind of trying to get Carolyn to realize that, you know, do we really want Harriet teaching the children? And then Carolyn is like, Charles, is there any popcorn left? And she's just sitting in bed, like, eating anxiously. Yeah, so I liked that Ma is also an anxious snacker. Because I am too. And I have some really good dairy-free popcorn that I love, so.
I don't think I was doing something during the last couple scenes.
So you didn't
and then
see
I
it?
don't think I even saw the last
Oh, no. Okay. So
Do my best here. You're going to have to take the lead.
So after this, the next day, I think that they decide that they're not going to send the girls to school because they don't want Harriet to be teaching her. So Carolyn still goes into town to take the eggs to the mercantile, but Harriet is not there. Nels is there. And Nels is like, yep, Harriet's teaching today. And then as Ma's walking out of the store, Harriet is walking down the steps and no children have shown up. And I sort of felt bad for Harriet.
Yeah.
That, like, everyone dislikes her so much that they just didn't want her to.
I don't think I don't think it's like that they dislike, like that if she originally had been asked, that
Yeah.
it's like they wouldn't send their children.
They're
I think
just
it's
on
probably
Ma's
word
side.
got spread about, because, I mean, the kids that go, I'm sure told their parents what happened.
Right.
And so I think they're like, I feel like, I get it. I feel a little bad for her too, but I think, like, they know what happened. They know
Yeah.
that she yelled at Abel And so they're like, we're not going to send our kids. But this is also interesting. Later on, there is an episode, it's a few seasons in, but where Harriet takes over the school again.
Oh, yeah.
Because, like, she's not happy with the way Laura is doing things, because eventually Laura becomes a teacher at Walnut Grove.
I remember this, yeah.
So, like, she takes over
And I think the same sort of thing kind of happens.
There's a lot of stuff going on. But yeah, so Harriet teaches more than once.
And then as Carolyn is walking home, Abel goes and is talking to her. He was like waiting on the path, and
he had some stuff that he's made. He's made made the letters, like the little, but out of clay. So he's taken clay and made letters, and he's like, I thought you could use them to help like with the teaching. And he's only made like what, A, B through D or something like that.
But he tells her that he got letters and numbers.
Well, she tells him that.
Letters and, oh, yeah.
Because she's like, so he's like, I can make the rest of them, the alphabet too, and then you can use it. He's like, and then I can make numbers. And she's like, you know, she's marveling. She's like, Abel, this is so amazing. And she's like, don't you see? In just the short amount of time, numbers and letters got into your head, and they're not going to get out.
And I was like, in those 5 minutes, like, and they didn't even go over numbers. So,
but honestly, if he got all of the letters from that one day, that is pretty impressive.
He's a genius.
He's not backwards. He's forwards.
He's forwards. And then I put, because I'm pretty sure she says like, I can't teach if you're not there. You're who needs me most. And I was like, she straight up told him he was the most dumb school.
He's the most dumb school. You're just a dumb school, Abel.
You're the most stupid kid in school. School. I'm the dumbest boy at school.
I feel like, I feel like, somebody was like, you need me the most, like, in that situation. Yeah, that would definitely
be like, excuse me?
Yeah.
And then,
how old is Abel supposed to be?
I feel like this is another case where he looks like a full grown-ass man.
He looks like he's 22.
Yeah.
Like,
which maybe they are because he's been helping his dad.
I don't know. I think probably they're shooting for like 17, 18, like definitely on the older end. But
yeah. And then she goes back to their home. Ma goes back to the Ingalls farm, and she is sitting by the creek, and Pa comes sauntering up to her, and he's like, so you're done teaching? And she's basically like, yeah, but like I enjoyed it while it lasted, but now, this is a quote that she says, I can devote more time to my husband. But she said it in a really weird way. Like, she said it in a weird accent. Like, I can devote more time to my husband.
Sometimes she's got some kind of accent going on.
I wonder if she...
I don't think it's real. I think it's just like... It's like she's trying to sound a certain way, and then it ends up sounding
weird.
Like she has an accent.
Yeah. And then it's the next day, and Carolyn is taking the girls to school late. And I don't know why she's taking them to school late. And why she's even taking them. Because
normally she doesn't.
Normally she doesn't take them. And then they just walk in and interrupt. Miss Beadle is back. So that's why they're going to school. But they just interrupt the lesson. And the children are all very excited and thankful that she is there. And they give her a proper goodbye. And they give her a standing ovation. And she doesn't even say anything to them. She doesn't say like, oh, thank you so much. I enjoyed my time with you. She just walks away. To be fair, I don't handle like that kind of like positive attention on myself either. So I might also just walk away.
Iconic moment.
Yeah. And I did notice there was a filming fallacy here because as she walks out, she closes the door behind her. But then as we do like a zoom back shot and she's walking down the steps, the door is open again. So, inconsistent.
And that's where it ends.
Yep.
So, see, I feel like we need a category because, like we said, we wanted to do at the end of the season a comparison between episodes with a happy ending and episodes with a sad ending. And I feel like we need, like a one for, like, a gray area.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, like, Carolyn got to teach. She enjoyed it. She gets her standing ovation, right? But, like, I wouldn't say this is, like, necessarily everything is resolved. Like, they were really mean to Abel.
Yeah.
And Abel may never come back.
Yeah.
So
Was he back? No, I don't think he was.
I don't think he was.
In my head, I can't remember if I am mixing up episodes of Prairie and Christy, because Christy follows Christy, and she's a teacher in the Appalachian Mountains in North Carolina, I think, or South Carolina. And there's an episode kind of early on where this happens, that she has a student that is very far behind, so she has to, like, tutor them. And I'm trying to remember if that's the one that I was thinking, like, Ma does, like, end up tutoring him later. I don't know. But I don't think that we see Abel ever again, so our questions will never be answered.
Yes.
Yet again. So, survivability.
Riley ranked it based on different characters this time.
I did. So I put as Miss Beadle 9 because she had it pretty easy.
She got a vacation.
Yeah. She just got to put her little ankle up and have a grand old time at home.
I feel like I agree with your rankings.
Yeah. Carolyn, I put 8. She
had some struggles, but,
yeah.
you know.
And then I put Abel 7.
Because Abel has pretty mean.
Yeah. And I feel like he's just, like, quiet and, yeah, very aware that he is behind. So. And there's, like, no other kids his age to play with. So, yeah. Trauma meter, I put 0.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I wouldn't say this episode is traumatic. No. And it's sad. Like, it's sad that they're mean to Abel.
Yeah.
But it didn't.
No trauma.
No.
And we got one Charles.
Most bizarre moment, I would say, I don't know. I don't feel like there's any, like, bizarre as in weird.
Random.
Well, I think most bizarre is probably just who is the school board that week.
Yeah.
Why are Mr. Hansen and Doc Baker always showing up?
I was going to say Pa reading a book about painting.
That is weird. That is funny.
Because I don't think anything in their house is painted.
So, favorite line. I forgot to write down my favorite line for this episode, so I wrote some down. Or I didn't. I forgot to write some down, so I wrote some down. No, I looked up some specific lines, like, because I remembered the gist of them. So, what Carolyn says specifically when she writes the understanding and compassion on the board and then asks if any of the kids know what the words mean, they don't respond because they're all just kind of like, what is happening? Yeah, and Carolyn says, well, don't feel bad, children. I don't think Mrs. Olson knows the meaning to these words either. So that line really served. And then this is not like a favorite, but I think we forgot to mention, and it is a funny part. So Harriet, when nobody shows up, Nellie and Willie are with her, and she says, didn't you tell the children I was going to teach today? And Nellie says, we did. And Willie Olson says, that's the trouble. So
it's a good little moment. Mine was I cooked it to make it hard.
That's a good one.
Has to be.
And then big opinion. I jumped into my big opinion a little too soon, but my big opinion is that Miss Beadle wanted her free vacation. She is tired, and she just doesn't give a shit anymore. And she's not that great of a teacher because of it.
I think mine is that Abel's dad kind of has the right idea. And I feel like he was, like, out of the parent interactions that we have seen, other than Charles and Carolyn, I feel like he is the more reasonable and kind of let his child have their say. Like, he wasn't going to force him. He wasn't keeping him from going to school or going to things like Olga's dad. So that was the big opinion.
Good on you, Abel's dad.
Yeah. If you have any big opinions on this episode or any just Prairie thoughts in general, make sure to let us know at Little House Big Opinions
on Instagram
and TikTok
or at gmail.com.
And next time we will be discussing...
I think next time we're going to do our special episode.
Oh, right? Yeah, the special episode. I'm excited about that.
We're going to do a special episode.
So if you are a reader like us, we are going to be talking about the New York Times bestselling book, Yesteryear. Because I feel like it ties in very well.
Yes, we're going to be talking about Yesteryear. Going to be doing a little recap stuff. Talking about some modern day, like what we think characters from Little House on the Prairie would be like in the modern day. So yeah, we're gonna do something a little different, and then if we can find the home ec books that we were discussing earlier, we're gonna delve into those
That'd
too.
be so good.
So join us next time for something a little different, but then
Back
next
to
episode
Prairie.
we'll be back to Prairie.
And it's a good one,
It's a good one.
so you don't want to miss out.
I find it very traumatizing. So
Yeah.
it's not Kim. Okay, so the trauma meter. I'm showing the trauma meter with my hands. Okay, so this is the range of the trauma meter. I'll do it with numbers so that for people. Okay, so 1. Well, I mean, we do the trauma meter. So when we get into it, I'll explain. But 1 to 10, like I would say it's like a 5 because there are some episodes that are crazy. There are some episodes that are crazy, so like you can't put it up there with those. But compared to like the happy episodes, this one I find traumatizing.
Yeah.
So join us.
Yeah.
Join us
For the trauma. Anyways, that's all for today. We'll talk to you next time. Bye.
Looks like we're at the end of another Little House episode. We admit that we're sad to go, but we hope you laughed and had some fun. We'll keep these podcast episodes coming until the show is done. Don't worry, there's 204, so there will be lots and lots more.